The tyrannical Irish government are bringing in new draconian legislation to limit internet access to the youth of this country under 18s, under the guise that it will be helping prevent them seeing violent images on the internet and explicit images. But we all know in reality, if they actually wanted to help the kids of this country, they would shut down places like the City West Hotel, which is full of 3,000 military-aged men, and one of them recently sexually assaulted a 10-year-old, a 26-year-old man who should have been deported recently. So this is all just a ruse to take away our freedoms. It's absolutely disgusting. Here we have the Minister of Communications, Patrick O'Donovan, has not yet proposed even a minimum age of online consent. What age could that be? Is it under 16s, under 12s, under 18s, under 21s? Who knows? But in reality, we know the reason for this, guys. The reason for this is because massive characters like Andrew Tate, Nick Fuentes, Myron Gaines from Fresh and Fit, all these massive internet characters are pushing the messages to the youth worldwide, in Europe, in Ireland as well. People like myself, they want to limit as well. Actual people that are speaking the truth and freedoms, unlike this corrupt RT News, and they don't want that. They have completely lost the initiative. They completely have no pull whatsoever in Irish society anymore. I listen to younger and younger people. They tell me the most radical things in the world, and they don't like that, guys. They don't like any pushback towards their boomer ideology. So of course this follows Australia, as they became the first country in the world to ban social media platforms for under 16s, with other countries watching keenly in their developments. And of course, Ireland, we copy everything that happens in the UK, in Australia, and elsewhere. And of course, they're going to be adopting this. The minister was speaking after an age verification tool as part of the creation of National Digital Wallet in a bid to keep children safe online was announced by the government. It's all a ruse. This is all a ruse to strip your freedoms. We need to keep the children safe. Well, how about shutting down some of these iPass centers where children get attacked on the daily, okay, that are sexually assaulted and killed? What about the younger people of the country? Aisling Murphy was only 23. If they were actually wanting to keep people safe, they would stop illegals and psychopaths from coming to the country. People without background checks that could be criminals and ISIS sleeper cells. They don't care about that, guys. They just want to strip all freedoms of you and have every inch of control over you. In my personal opinion, this should all be done by the parents. There should be no legislation done by the government whatsoever. But here, of course, we have Virgin Media talking about this. Let's listen to what they said about it.
There's one elephant in the room that, like, when you say, you know, let the tech companies off the hook, tech companies deserve what's coming to them. They're ruthless on this. They have no conscience about monetizing kids, and they never have had, okay? So nobody should shed any tears for the tech companies. But the elephant in the room here is parents. So the reason I think, I don't know whether you guys would agree with me, the reason I think the government hasn't forged ahead with this, it's not clear that it's absolutely popular. We all hope for a safer environment for our kids online. There is no way that an 11-year-old and a 10-year-old gets on social media in Ireland without their parent giving them a smartphone and helping them on to Facebook or what. It's not possible. That doesn't happen.
Exactly. How can a 10-year-old or 11-year-old even get a phone? They're not earning money, guys. This is ridiculous. Smartphones, I think the new iPhone 17 costs like €1,500, €1,500, that is. So an insane amount of money. Barely people can afford it. I can barely afford that. And I'm a 30-year-old man, adult male. So we're talking about the youth of Ireland getting phones. I didn't have a phone till I was 21, and it was like a shitty little Nokia. I didn't get a BlackBerry or a smartphone till I was later on, 23, 24. You know, I didn't have internet access really till I was like 20, like proper, not dial-up, 21. So it's just ridiculous nowadays how these kids are able to get such early access to phones. How about just not giving them a phone till they're 16 anyways? You shouldn't even have a phone till you're 16 anyways. I didn't have a phone, like I said, till I was 19, 20. So you can do without it for a while. I mean, you're not missing out as a kid on anything, guys. It's just ridiculous. You just play video games. Kids have enough with Call of Duty and all that stuff. That's what I played growing up. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, the lobbies online. That was just fun. That was just craziness. But there was no violent material on that game, okay? There was no explicit material, anything bad, like super pornographic or people dying. It was all video-generated images. You know, Call of Duty, it's not real, right?
It's not something that we like to admit in public, but the vast majority of parents, I have to say this, are the ones who facilitate their kids getting on to social media. The only reason I raise that point is I'm not so sure that it is as politically popular to go in and ban social media among 14, 15 as we might think.
I don't know about that. I mean, I do think actually, and just even from engaging with people in my own community, I mean, there is a lot of, fear right now. And I really feel for parents because they don't know what to do. And like, honestly.
So this Sinead Gibney is making up statistics. She's saying, anecdotally, there's lots of people that really support the idea of banning all social media. We don't want to hear people. She's obviously from the Social Democrats. She looks like she's transgender. These are the kind of people that want to take your freedoms away from you. The government is just people. It's just people like you and me, guys. They're not special people in the government whatsoever. They're just taking your freedoms away because they want to. They hate their lives, guys. This is it. This is disgusting behavior.
There's a lack of understanding, and children and younger people have a lot more understanding of this technology than a lot of their parents.
I think those days are gone. I think it was true to say.
But the other group that I think are really lacking in an understanding of this is policymakers and lawmakers. I mean, even in Leaders Today, my colleague Holly Cairns raised online safety with the Taoiseach, and honestly his response to me belied a lack of understanding of what we're talking about.
Completely, there should be no regulations for anyone ever. Okay, thank God for the internet. If we didn't have the internet, my message about more right-leaning, more conservative politics wouldn't even be able to be out there, because people like RT limit that. And the reason why they're trying to limit internet access for youth and the kids is then they won't have any internet access to see the news. And the only news that they'll be able to watch is on TV. You understand, guys? They want you to pay the internet, TV bill, the TV license. But also on top of that, they want you watching the mainstream news. They don't want you watching alternative media like myself, okay, that give you the actual unbiased news. They want you watching the mainstream contrived propaganda brainwashing news. That's what they want you to watch. And they want to infect your kids with their brainwashing and their propaganda. That's why they don't want you to be on the internet, okay? 100%. Not only are the Social Democrats tyrannical, this lady, Sinead Gibney, goes so far to say, even if you block access with these kids, you're still leaving behind the cesspit that is much of the internet. They want to block people like me. They want to completely rid people of actual free speech. This is the actual agenda of these people.
I certainly welcome that government are recognising that more needs to be done, that's for sure. But I do have concerns about age verification, and I mean, they stem from, Adrian touched on some of them, and I think, if you think about age verification, you can look at it, there's three different options essentially. You can seek for the platforms to enforce age verification, you can do it at a state level, or you can potentially look at a third party, and all of them come with risks. I mean, CyberSafe Kids in committee recently were proposing that a third party would actually be the best way to go, and certainly groups like ICCL and others.
See, they want left-wing NGOs to control your internet access. They don't want you to see people like me. This is the tyrannical people. These people are evil. They are evil personified, guys. These people in Social Democrats, the mainstream media, these people are scumbags, man. They want to take away all your freedoms and all your rights.
Came out today with concerns around any government-led and state-led option. But the third party is also rife with issues around you kind of create a centralised place where a lot of very sensitive data is held, and that in itself creates a cyber attack kind of target, if you like. But there are other kind of more, I suppose, conceptual issues that I would have with it, and that we would have with it as a party. I mean, for a start, like certainly the ban, and I don't know we can come to that, but essentially age verification does block access for kids. And that is, for a lot of kids, these are a lifeline. For children, for example, in the LGBTQI plus community, they seek solace and comfort and community in online spaces. So we do have to think about it from a children's rights perspective.
Most of the time, they just get groomed for their ideology. We see people in their party. I think Owen Hanley, was he People Before Profit or Social Democrats? They're all pretty much one of the same ideology. He was like grooming kids on the internet. A lot of these people on the left, guys, they want to be part of these internet access chats so they can just groom people and just be freaky with kids. Like, that's basically it, man. These people are just sick, evil freaks, guys. Like, it's just beyond even comprehension what they want to do with the internet, to limit it.
But I also fully appreciate that the child protection space piece is important as well. But for me, I think really it's kind of tinkering around the edges. And really, if you create age verification, if you block access, you're still leaving behind the cesspit that is much of our internet right now, and all of the rest of us.
See, she wants to completely block the internet so no alternative media ever is presented to the Irish public. Thank God for YouTube. Thank God for American media platforms like YouTube and Instagram and Facebook. Thank God, guys. Because without those, we'd be cooked in this country.
They're still exposed to it. So for me, I do think like recommender algorithms being turned off by default is something we're blue in the face asking for. It was something that the original online safety code included, and then Commissioner Lamont stepped away from it. That for me is a much more rigorous measure that would actually deal with online safety, both for children and everybody else.
See that, guys, both for children and everybody else. We started off talking about the children, guys. We want to save the kids. You want to save the kids. Oh my goodness. The kids can't be exposed to anything crazy. Now, all of a sudden, they've moved from the kids and they're pushing over to you guys to restrict all your internet access. They don't want you to have the internet. The only reason that we are able to push back in this country about anything is because of the internet. Voices like myself and you guys that are posting to the internet, just regular people, we're able to post and push back against this tyranny in the government. That's the only reason. We would have no other voice because they don't listen to any other voice. This is where we're able to reach millions upon millions of people, which we're doing every year. Let's listen to RFK Jr. talking about how Bill Gates has satellites that will be able to look at every square inch of the planet, and they're controlling the currency and they're using digital ID to control the people. Now, bear in mind, RFK Jr., he used to be a Democrat. He used to be left-wing NGO, big guy. Now he's right-wing. Okay, he's on the right, he's MAGA, because we see that the left have gone tyrannical, guys. They want to strip all of our freedoms. It's scary stuff, honestly.
They are putting in place all of these technological mechanisms for control we've never seen before. It's been the ambition of every totalitarian state from the beginning of mankind to control every aspect of behavior, of conduct, of thought, and to obliterate dissent. The mechanisms are being put in place that will make it so none of us can run and none of us can hide. Within 5 years, we're going to see 415,000 low-orbit satellites. Bill Gates says his 65,000 satellites alone will be able to look at every square inch of the planet 24 hours a day. They're putting in 5G to harvest our data and control our behavior. Digital currency that will allow them to punish us from a distance and cut off our food supply.
The digital ID, the digital currency that we're enacting now in Ireland, in the UK, it's all coming here, guys. We must resist this. They're enacting it, and this is coming in because they can control everything then. They can control how much you eat, how much you flip and pay for, what you buy. It's all coming, guys, and we will fight it till our last breath.
Vaccine passports. You have a series of rights. As flawed as our government is, you can still go out and go to a bar. You can go to a sporting event. You can get on a bus or an airplane and you can travel. You have certain freedom. You can get educated, etc. The minute they hand you that vaccine passport, every right that you have is transformed into a privilege contingent upon your obedience to arbitrary government dictates.
I mean, this guy may have a bad voice, but he sure as hell can speak, guys. Unbelievable. Okay, he may not be able to speak too well, but boy, when he speaks, does he do it well, guys. Amazing stuff. Absolutely amazing stuff. And the last point I wanted to bring up, guys, was this thing I saw yesterday. It says the US plans to check social media of all visitors. So it says Irish visitors to the US will be required to disclose their social media histories from the past 5 years before entering the country, according to plans published by the Trump administration. Now, theoretically, guys, you would think that, okay, they're looking for left-wing, big-time radicals that crash, buses into planes like we saw in Dublin Airport and Shannon Airport, trying to disrupt the whole, country. They don't want left-wing radicals in the country. But at the same time, I was pro-Trump, of course. A lot of people were pro-Trump, but I understand, to a certain point, they would like you to come into the country if you're pro-Trump. But what if it's not all that, guys? What if it's just they're looking for something else? It's up to their discretion at this point. And I don't like any sort of regulation coming in and out of countries. I feel like it's just a little bit tyrannical. Okay, so, but yeah, obviously, I support the current administration massively. Okay, hugely. Okay, I'm a huge fan. I'm the biggest fan of the current Trump administration, and what they're doing with ICE and everything is absolutely amazing. They're actually changing history. But I suppose, yeah, it's kind of good they don't let like left-wing crazy crackpots into the country. Absolutely. But at the same time, hopefully it's not like to control everyone just in general. Okay, it could be under that guise as well. You never know, guys. All right. I love you all. If you want to support me, hit the join link underneath the video. Become a member today for just €3 per month. It can help me push back against the mainstream media, the woke Irish government. And I'll help you guys as well in return. I'll see you guys in the next one, man. Peace.